In fact, there was a day I was looking for the next person. Funny, how do I know? Some of those certifications cannot even be taken from Nigeria. If I give you the website will not open on your laptop. Because they block it from non-Americans, only for Americans. And those people have a way of, and when I took that certification, I remember, so by the way, in case you don't know, that's my wife, Dr. Elizabeth is my wife. And together, we run Brainy High Schools. When I was taking those certifications, I had to tell her one day, I said, you know what we're going to do? I think I've just discovered the secrets of the American education. I just understood why the education system beats us. And I remember telling her we're going to dismantle everything we're doing and rebuild it afresh because we're finding new building blocks. And it was not just a joke. Remember, we started calling our leaders, having meetings, changing things. That's when we scrapped exams. Okay, let me not go there. We had to change the way we do our assessments. We changed the way we write our exams entirely. So right now at Brainy High, we assess students per topic, not per subject. So your assessment is for every topic, because when you tell a parent that your child has a B in mathematics, or your child has A in mathematics, A is 75%, right? So 75, this child has A in maths. What that parent believes is that my child is good in maths. But out of 100, this child lost 25 points somewhere. That means there's an area of maths this child is not good at. But that is just saying a child has A. You've not told that parent anything. You deceive them thinking my child is good in maths. When you assess them per topic, they see their performance on every topic. When they want to help that child get a lesson teacher, they say, oh, this is the topic where the child is struggling. Focus on this area. We cannot achieve that kind of assessment with regular exams. So we have to start changing a lot of things. I mean, let me not talk about it. There are many things we change. So many things we change. When I say I'm a teacher, I really am a teacher. Okay, so but this afternoon, I want to talk to you about the future of work and the changing nature of education and the role of teachers. So it's more like three things in one. The future of work, the changing role, the changing nature of education, and the role of teachers. Now, I run a company called Early Founders Labs. Early Founders is a tech and startup school for children. What we do there is we prepare every child to launch their first startup before they turn 18. That's what we do at Early Founders Labs. So it's a tech and a business school, just for kids. If you're above 18, we don't admit you. You must be a child to be able to join our tech school. And we have students all over the world, different countries. Some 2-3 weeks ago, we put out a job advertisement on our website and on our social media pages. We're hiring, so we're looking for 3 roles: a community manager, a HR, and a communications executive. People began to apply. Okay, good, my PA is here, so Agnes is here, she can confirm what I'm talking about. So our head of operations, we have a team that is doing the selection. So they did the first batch of selection, did an interview. I didn't get involved at that level. So he reached out to me and said, oh, so I think I found best fit for our roles. I found 3 people that I think can fit into our team. So now I want you to look at them, possibly interview them one last time, and decide whether they are in. I said, okay, so can I have their profile? The first person who fit into the role of a communications executive in our company is from Kenya. Lives in Kenya. Applied to work for us in a company in New York. She beat everybody in the interview. People applied from New York. People apply from Port Harcourt. People apply from Ibadan. For us, the role is remote. You can work for us anyway. So the person doesn't have to be in New York. So we are open. In fact, when I began to look at the applications, Indians were applying to work for us in New York. And the first thing that hit me is what we have been saying is happening. There's a way we think that when we run education in New York, we are competing against the next school. We think that when we are raising students, we are raising them to be better than the next school, is to win first position in the spelling bee of Uyo. The jobs you are training your children for is the same jobs people around the world are training students for. So if your children cannot compete globally, they will come first in your school here in Uyo and they can't get jobs. Because even the jobs in Uyo, people around the world, they collect it. So it used to sound like cliche. It's happening in my own company. There are people outside, and I was telling my coach, I'm like, coach, this is the problem. How do I even hire Indians and Kenyans? My coach says you must hire them. It's even good for your company's PR that you're now hiring internationally. I say, but do you know what that means? That means you have to start paying in dollars. Because by the time we take our Naira salary and convert it to their own currency, it's below minimum wage. So, do you understand the dynamics? What that means is, when we say the future of work, it's no longer future of work, it is the today of work. The thing we have been talking about, that the way work is going to run in the future, it has changed. Even today, to get jobs now, people, just yesterday, I was on an interview panel for a partner company where I consult for. They were hiring some tech people, and so they had finished all the interviews also, and they were now about to make selection. Because the tech role, so they got me as a tech consultant. Can you come and talk to these guys that we want to hire and advise us whether they are best fits? And so I think they've sent just the last 2 guys. So I interviewed the first one, and I'm like, man, this guy is brilliant, this guy is good. This is the guy you hire. They now say, we thought he was good, but wanted you to come and since you say he's good, that means he's good. However, there's one clause. I say, what? The guy has 2 other jobs, and he's not willing to drop any of them. So he wants to add us as the 3rd job. I say, guys, what do you need him to do? Sure, you can do it. Is it his face you want to see, or is it his skill you need? Employ that guy. Now the guy is going to get a 3rd job, sitting down from his house, earning money in 3 different organizations. It's no longer the future of work. It is the work. That is the way work is happening today. I have people on my team who don't live in Uyo. They work for us in Uyo. They earn every month. And my company is not in America. My company is in this estate. But people who live places in the world. But I have people on my team. I've not seen them in more than a year. As in my staff, I've not seen them in more than 1 year. When last did I see my wife? I always say, okay, my people are not here. I've not seen him in more than a year. He earns every month from my office. So does he do the job perfectly? This is what we call the future of work. Now, jobs and work has gone borderless. It has crossed that definition of, so I want to work in Lagos, so I relocate to Lagos. No. People live here and can work anywhere. What that means is that the criteria for preparing people for work also has changed. Unfortunately, when change happens, change is silent. Change does not happen with an alarm. Globally, change is a noiseless phenomenon. When things begin to change, nobody comes and says, today we have changed the era. It just happens, and because it's silent and it's quiet, many people who cannot read the times and seasons stay stuck in an old era, and the world moves on and leaves them where they are. And you just wake up one day and like, waiting doors. It's like they've left us. And you just find out that you are out of this scheme of things. Things have happened and has moved beyond you. And you're wondering yourself, what did you do? What did I do? On the red carpet, I was giving them some statistics. Africa is expected to produce 40% of the world's workforce by 2050. That's in about 25 years from now. 40% of all the workers in the world are expected to be from Africa. Now that number, that may not look scary. At that point, only 15% of them will live in Africa, by the way. They're going to be all over the place. So what it tells you is that the world has recognized that where the future of work is coming from is where? Africa. But while the world is anticipating that, and the only reason why that is the case is because of population. Now we the born children pass. So we have population. Africa is the youngest continent in the world. The median age in Africa is 19, meaning half of this continent below 19. The median age in Nigeria is 17.1, meaning 110 million people in Nigeria are under the age of 17. We're a bottom-heavy continent, bottom-heavy nation, meaning our people are young. So the world is looking up to us and saying, this is where the future is going to come from. But then when you look at what the world is looking at, and you take a peep into our classrooms, you're like, excuse me, it's a no balance. These are the guys that the world is waiting for to come and take on the jobs of the future. What are they learning? They are learning multiplication table. They are learning how to define photosynthesis. They are learning the 9 major planets. They are learning the longest rivers in Africa. They are busy cramming redundant knowledge that that nobody will need in the future. So we are raising people who are containers of useless knowledge. And then we package them with a stamp, BSc, Badam. And then they go out there and they have never used their brain one day. We have a system that thrives on memorization. To make a first class, you don't need to know how to think. You just need to know how to collect and return. See what they gave me. This is what you gave about this formula. Derive this formula. 48 lines for formula. You can memorize 48 lines. Okay, you go make first class. How does it work? You don't need to know. So when you go out into the real world and you say, I'm a graduate and we are looking for work, and then they give you a small problem, you know what they say? They didn't teach us this one. Because you are now faced with the real world, and the real world is not governed by textbooks. The real world is governed by problems that are evolving. The problems that happen in the real world don't follow your textbook formula. You go to mechanic school and they teach you how to repair a car. The day your car will spoil, your car will not go and check what they taught you and spoil the way they taught you. Your car will just spoil. You are the one who will figure out, based on all that they taught me, what can I take from there to figure out what's spoiled in this car and how to get it working. But if all you learn is, this is how they taught me to lose tire. The day tire come out by itself, you can't put it back. Because all you learned was how to remove and how to put back. But this one, I died, you don't follow that pattern. You are lost. This is why we have unemployment as a problem in our country. Because people have left school, over 80 million graduates are out there, and what are they saying? There's no work. Because the nature of work itself has evolved. Many years ago, work was that somebody will give you a table, and give you a chair, and give you file, and tell you what to do on that table with that file. That was work. Today, nobody is telling anybody what to do. If I need to tell you what to do, why can't AI do it for me? Because AI will do it faster, smarter, and more accurate than anybody. So if I need somebody to tell what to do, I don't need any human being. I'm looking for people who can think. People who can. When we did the current recruitment we are doing, we didn't say send us application. Yes, we just wrote a simple flyer. To apply to join us, we asked the question. Answer this question and send us the answer by email. What we're trying to do, we want to see how you think. As we're reviewing the applications, we're seeing ChatGPT responses. It's instant delete. This one has ChatGPT answer this question. You can tell. We simply wanted to find out who they think. And I'm glad that some of my people are here because, funny enough, the entire process, in fact, yesterday I was reviewing, she's smiling because she was in the meeting. That's my AA who's holding the camera there. When we were in the meeting, I was asking them, I said, this person, when I interview her, what did they say? See that as they were asking her the question, she was typing the answer in ChatGPT and giving them. And they could tell that this is so. She was like, so what did you say again? Okay, you said I should tell you, and they are hearing the keyboard typing. Then after like 15 seconds, she started talking confidently because she's now reading the response. They just deleted her and dropped her. Today, what we are looking for in the workplace are people who know how to think. And many of our school system teaches everything except how to think. We teach memorization. We teach them how to copy. You see, there's a lot. There's something called the global achievement gaps. I'm not going to talk about them today. They've identified skills that they believe everybody needs if you succeed in the world. I'm sure you've heard about those. If you've not heard about them, go and Google it. Global achievement gaps. It's a list of 7 skills. Your teachers are not going to tell you about that. Go and figure it out. It has skills like problem solving, critical thinking, analytical thinking, curiosity. All of those skills that they say, if you don't have these skills in today's world, you will not succeed. Unfortunately, none of those skills is a subject in your curriculum. Which subject is called critical thinking? Which subject is called collaboration? In fact, unfortunately, the world says you need collaboration to succeed. You know what our school system teaches you? How to work alone. The opposite. So when you give student assignment and the assignment look alike, you cancel all. Why? Say you copied. When you are giving any assignment or whatever, I say don't talk to your friend, face yourself alone. In the real world, we are saying nobody succeeds alone. People need each other to succeed. But the school system preparing them for the world is saying you must be independent if you will succeed. I mean, so you understand why there's a disconnect between the school system and the real world. And we have so many things that we consider, we consider them problems. And I always say they are not problems. There's a difference between symptoms and problems. Malaria is a disease. But the symptom of malaria is headache and fever. When you have malaria, you don't feel malaria, you feel headache, you feel temperature. There is a medicine that cures headache. It's called what? Paracetamol or Panadol. Some of us have malaria because we feel headache, we start taking Panadol. When you take Panadol, what's going to happen? Headache will go down and do what? Come back. It will go and come back until you treat the main disease. The sickness does not go. Unemployment is a symptom, not a disease. The real problem is education. Nobody can ever create jobs for the 80 million unemployed people in Nigeria. If you like, do Empower, do W Power, do G Power, every power you do, that the number will keep on increasing. Who has Empower ever elevated out of poverty? Has it reduced our unemployment rate? So we can run it for 8 years. We are treating symptoms until we go back to the classroom and teach people the skill, how to think, how to go out there and see problems and solve problems. They tell us that every problem is an opportunity in disguise. If problems are opportunities, tell me the country with the most problems in the world. Shouldn't this be the place of the most opportunities? Then why are we running? Where are we running to? Let me ask you in that comedian way, why are you running? Well, you understand? We have a land full of opportunities, but we are running. It simply means that we have not acquired that ability to recognize opportunities when they look like problems. Or we have not acquired the ability to turn problems into opportunities. That is the changing nature of education. The world evolved, and our education system did not evolve with it. Now, what is education supposed to do basically? Education is basically designed to power an age or an era. And I say this a lot, so probably I'm just going to run through this again. You've probably heard me say this before. The world evolves in eras. And as the world evolves, what powers the world is supposed to change. So there was a season and time when the world was powered by agriculture. What that meant was the richest men in the world were the biggest farmers. Your ability to become wealthy was tied to your ability to have plenty farms or plenty livestock. That was why people used to Africans to marry plenty wives, to have plenty children. What were they trying to do? Create a workforce for the farm. This was the system that powered the slave trade, because slavery was actually a mechanism to power agriculture. They were packing slaves to go and run plantations, because global wealth, world power, was determined by how much farms you could cultivate. There were no machines. Everything was manual. So whoever has big land, big farm, and can get workforce becomes the richest man in the world. So governments and countries were powering agriculture by human labor. But that era changed, and the machines began to come in. And we now went into what we call the industrial age. The industrial age was the age of mass production, where factories began to come up. There were now tractors, there were now assembly plants, the age of refineries, the age of production plants, steel came in, through railways. And so suddenly there was a shift. People did not need physical labor anymore. There was no need for slave trade. So slave trade would still have died in natural death. Because people didn't need manual labor anymore. What they now needed were semi-skilled workforce who can work in factories. Because you can have a big factory, and in the factory you have an assembly line. And what do you mean assembly line? People who can take instructions. That was the age and era that the education system was created. To send people to school so that they can come out of school with one skill: how to read, write, and take instructions. That is why our classrooms are designed like factories. Go and check. Why do we arrange chairs in class, row by row, like factories? Why do we condition people? Everything. Oh yeah, everybody, mass, open your textbook, mathematics, page 30, solve problem 4, it's break time, ring the bell, gilling, everything. They were conditioning people to be able to fit into factories. It was a conditioning system. Go and check John D. Rockefeller and the Education Board. When they set up the Education Board. I mean, I'm talking, what I'm saying is verifiable. Go online and go and check. That was when the education system was created. So, we had a system that was created. The goal of going to school was to come out and get a job in a factory. That is why till today, when you leave school, the first thing you're thinking of is what? Job. But you see, the world changed from that industrial era. But But the school system did not follow it. The world moved on to what they call the information age. This was the age that was powered by knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the wealthier you become. This was the age where people started going. So school now became, oh yeah, finish your degree, get masters. Finish your masters, go for PhD. Because the more knowledge you have, the higher ranking you were in society and financially. That was the age of many of our parents. That's why as you are finishing your secondary school, or you must go to university straight. It's like you can't enter university, your life has not started. When you finish university, next day, oh yeah, masters, buy master's form. They just push because they believed that the more knowledge you have, the more certificates you have, once you come out, your life is made. And it was working for a season. Because there was a time when, as you are finishing school, companies were coming to wait for you. But that era also quietly passed, and we did not know. We enter what we call the conceptual age. The age where your ability to succeed depends on how much you can actually create something out of nothing. Your ability to enter a vacuum with nothing and create something that nobody shows you how to create. That's why in this age, who are those people succeeding? Content creators, musicians, designers, people who have the ability to just sit down. Have you asked yourself, where does Sabinus get content from? Where does Mr. Macaroni get content from? Do you understand? Designers, graphic guys, where are they getting those things from? That is the age of thinking. Unfortunately, students are going through a school system designed for the industrial age and coming out into a world that expects them to function in the conceptual age. And so when they leave school and come out, they are totally shocked by what they meet. Then symptoms begin to happen. Unemployment leads to poverty. When it is happening, underemployment, suddenly people with master's degree are collecting secondary school level job. Make a shot anyhow at all. Let me get something. When it does not work, they start jabbing. So all of these things are actually symptoms of a failed education system, or a system that refuses to transition. Now, as this is changing, what's the way forward? The only way forward is to go back to the source and address the disease. And what is the disease? The classroom. We have a big problem there too. Because who powers the education system? Teachers. We have teachers who we are expecting to produce students who have skills that they themselves don't even understand. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot raise a thinker if you are not a thinker. So what Teacher Mo is doing by this event, these are the real solutions to the problems. But you see, as much as she does, as much as she can gather us to come and give you aspire, to acquire, and you will leave here feeling very excited and motivated, nothing will change unless you decide that I want to be a different kind of teacher. We have lots of teachers, and I've been telling them this thing for years. All the teachers are doing it. I used to tell them this. A time is going to come in this country when teachers are going to earn more than bankers, more than oil workers. Because that time is, I'm not prophesying, I'm just telling you facts. A time is coming when the world will realize that it all boils down to teachers. And then there will be a search for teachers who know their onions. And when that time comes, teachers who truly know their game, they will offer you stupid, not like I say blood money. They will offer you like crazy offers because they found a teacher who knows her job, who knows his job. And that is the age and time we are in. Thank you. Okay. I don't need more up to that time. I've already finished my talk. But that's not going to happen by laying on of hands. I can't impart. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no impartation to become a better teacher. Critical thinking impartation. I impart to you the spirit of critical thinking. You don't go work. You will have to go and acquire the ability to learn what nobody taught you. Because that's what powers the age. It may look like you are on your own. The truth is you are on your own. I told you my own story. How I left tech to go to education. But nobody pursued me. The school fees I have paid to learn education. School fees I've never paid in my life. As in, when I've been in school, my wife knows. School fees that you are paying, you're like, who will send me this kind of message? Because I decided to go for the best in the world. I said, I want to become one of the top voices on this continent in education. And I went for certifications that I'm paying in thousands of dollars just to understand how these things work. You will have to invest in your own self. You have to invest in your own knowledge, in acquiring the necessary skills. The school where you work may not appreciate it now, but I can tell you for a guarantee, a time is coming when there will be a search who understands this game. While the future of work is changing, I don't like calling it future of work anymore, because I told you, it is now what? The today of work. While we live in the reality of what work looks like, and it is obvious that education system is failing, not just in Nigeria, globally. Many countries have not evolved their education system. We have people who have gone abroad, and they've gone there. You heard what the last guy told you? That he lives in the UK. He saw children thinking, I need teachers who can teach my children here in the UK. And the same thing. We run an e-school. We have parents across the world asking us for teachers. So we actually run a school that serves students in diaspora. So if you have children abroad who are looking for a school, we have that school. Brainy High School. It's separate from Brainy High School here. It's a full school that runs in the diaspora. And people are coming there begging. I mean, they understand the world needs high quality teachers. It's a personal race, it's a personal game. Decide and say, this is what I need to do, acquire the skills I need to learn. Everything they can say. Find mentors, find knowledge, go for knowledge, develop your skill, put yourself out there. The guy just simply gave you the template. All I came to do is reinforce what he says and remind you that if you like, stay stuck in a system whose time has passed. But the world has moved, and the world keeps moving. Your students are going to go through school. May they not come out of school and be asking why they ever met you as their teacher. Because what you taught them was how to survive in a world that has passed. Preparing them for the future. You can't give what you don't have. So if you leave this place with anything, tell yourself, I want to go and be a transformed teacher. I want to go and acquire the skills to teach for the 21st century. Thank you very much for your time.